All right, let's go. So day number 50, we'll end it on this day, and tomorrow we'll have a recap of everything that has happened this past 50 days. So as you can see, yesterday we had day number 49, and it was a series about running paid ads. I've tested a lot of things. I'll be showing now what has happened recently, and also tomorrow we will do an overview, a recap of everything. As you can see, it's actually winter, so it's pretty cold outside, but it's definitely been a while since we've gone through this journey of running paid ads for a marketing agency, which is something that you don't really see online. And that's because most people will tell you to cold DM, to cold outreach. And honestly, I do all of those myself too, but they are not as, let's say, dynamic, meaning that you have a formula and you just go with that formula. With paid ads, the thing is that you can always slightly improve. And the thing is that you don't have to wait on anyone to improve things, because you just go out there into the market and the market will tell you instantly on that day or a few days, let's say, if it works or not. While with cold DM, for example, or cold email, the thing is that you might have a list that doesn't work. You might have slow replies just because it is slightly more saturated. However, on the paid ad side, it's not as saturated, just because not many people will actually risk their money to actually gain something, especially if they can lose that money and gain nothing, right? Because that's entrepreneurship. It's risking something without knowing if you will win or not. And think of it like this. How many people have bought Iman Gadli's course? If you know him, he's basically documented his journey, then sold a course and other things along the way. And I think maybe he's had 20, 30K students, and that's something that's, let's say, an achievement for him as well. And it's actually a good thing because he has introduced so many people to the agency world, to offering services in general. And the main downside is that not all 20, 30K of them will have success. And this is a two-part component. So one of the things is actually, and this is the reason why you'll see all of the courses, online courses, I think at this point it's something that's almost standard at this point. It's having a mindset section, module, lessons. And that's because, especially for beginners, mindset is a big thing. While for people who are slightly more successful, it usually isn't as much of a thing. And that's usually because they already have that mindset. It doesn't even matter if they worked on it or not. It's just like with an extroverted friend. He might just be good with people, and it doesn't mean like that he actually trained those skills. He's just good at it. Same with someone speaking on camera. If you think that I'm decent at speaking in front of a camera, and I would say I'm decent, not the worst, and far off from being the best, but it's because I've been doing videos for almost 5 years now. So it's been such a long time that if I have a camera in front of me, it's not a big deal. It's not a huge pressure. I don't care if it's 1 view, 1 million views, or so on, right? Because I've already gone through these phases of having lower views, higher views, so it doesn't really matter. It's not something that I take into account when making these videos as much. And that's the same with the agency world. The fact that most people first have to invest in themselves around maybe $500, $1,000 more, right? Because you just keep investing if you want to grow. For example, the last mentorship that I paid for was around 3.5K. With that amount, I could buy, let's say, 2 or 3 communities for 1 year. Also, probably buy a course, right? So it just depends on where you are, what you need, who are the people that you need to be around, what skills you need to develop. Because even in the real world, right? I don't know why people call, let's say, courses a scam. Maybe because the quality is not there, but also you have to think of the following thing. If you buy a course and you say that it's a scammer and so on, the question is, did you actually put in the time to actually like learn something from it? Because basically it's the same as wasting one of your days on doing something, right? It's just like I would rather pay 1K for a course and get just one nugget than, let's say, going out and having 2 or 3 dates and having no benefit to it. Or even if there's any kind of benefit, long term, it doesn't even compare to having a golden nugget from a course that you will reuse all the time, right? For example, in the past few months, one of the best calls that I've been on was one about sales training, and it was basically just a one-on-one, even though I think more than 100 people could have joined that call, but they didn't. So it was eventually a one-on-one call, and I just got one-on-one help, mentorship on or coaching, you could call it, on actually how to sell, how to have a framework. And even to this day, I'm still using that, and I'll be using it for the next few years, right? And it was just a 1-hour call, and that paid for all the basically I think there was just one fee that I paid to be in that community. And there are, if I'm not mistaken, 100 calls during the year, but that one call made all the difference. And coming back to paid ads, right? That's why you won't have as much competition with paid ads. Not everyone can do it. Not everyone can do it for free. Not everyone can do it, even if you think of those guys who pay for a course, right? From like Iman Gadzhi. Most of them, or many of them, actually need to pay for that course, right? And even that is a big investment, 997 or whatever the price is nowadays. But with paid ads, basically, as you've seen here, I think I spent around 1.5K and basically had almost no tangible results. So I did sign a client yesterday, but it was from a different source, not from paid ads. But the thing is that right now I pretty much know how to run paid ads for B2B as well. I know what's more likely to work, which types of campaigns are better, and there's definitely much more to learn here, and things will change over time. So that's why it's actually refreshing knowing that no one will ever be the best. Like in terms of principles and so on, yeah, you can actually be one of the best, but not the best, because in order to be the best, you need to adapt and always be up to date on what's working. Even though it's always important to know selling, human psychology, framing, and all of those things. If you know those, you'll have success in whatever you do, but still then you also like have to apply them. If you just have a high ego at one point, because it happens to almost all of us, at one point we believe we don't have to prepare anymore, right? And for example, before a call, if you don't prepare anymore because you have enough confidence in your skills, eventually you will lose to someone who is less competent than you, but will actually prepare for a call, right? Because even myself, to be fair, sometimes I think how my college version from like 10 years ago would actually be more prepared than me right now for many things. However, he would just not be as skilled. So that's the main difference. He will not be as calm just because he hasn't went through so many things already. So that's the main difference. But experience, skills do matter, and sometimes you can gain them in a short amount of time. But with all of that being said, let's still look at the last day here from the ad account. You'll see that we are in learning limited, not a big deal, but we'll see the last metrics here in a second. So let's switch the camera and look at the stats before pausing it. So let's switch the camera. All right, so now that we are in the ad account, as you can see, for the month we spent, let's see, how much did we spend? Only around $400, so not that much for almost 20 days here. So we actually spent much more in January to get learnings. And if you look here at the metrics log, so yesterday we had 1 click, and as you might remember, we had a very high CPM. So it does seem like CPMs are going up right now. And if we go back here, so let me show you. Yesterday we had basically that amount of spend and no leads. And as you can see, actually we are in learning limited. That's because there were only free events here, so only 3 people actually booked a call, because this one is optimizing for booking a call and going to the website. Actually, it's optimizing for filling a form, and after the form usually they do book a call. So if you look here at today, so let me actually zoom in so you can see. Yeah, there are many ad sets, but right now we do have only one, and today the CPM was 200. So I think I'll be running this until the end of the day. I'll put it in my calendar, and I guess tomorrow I can actually show you the last metrics here at the end of the day. We'll see if we get any click or not, but yeah, as you can see, the CPMs are going way higher right now. So it could be a mix of competition, of my ads kind of fatiguing and just not finding the right people. But overall, these are the stats. If we look, and I don't want to make an overview, so just yet, we'll talk about that tomorrow. But if we look at this month, as you can see, we did spend around $400, so fairly low amount, and we did get a few calls here, so we did get free on this one basically in the last few days. And besides that, actually we didn't get actual field forms, but we did get IG combos, which basically we have on our phone, so I might be showing that tomorrow as well. But with that being said, let's switch the camera again. All right, so now that we're back for the last minute or so here, let's just talk about the fact that, as you can see, paid ads do give you insights, because that data is something that I will probably take into consideration in the future as well, if I will be running paid ads again for the agency, because I do run paid ads already for eCom brands every day, 24/7 for years now. There hasn't been a day for almost probably 4 or 5 years now that I haven't basically managed some kind of ad spend for e-commerce brands. And this is the consistency that you need if you want to actually grow. You just need to be in the game for a very long time, and eventually you just get better by staying in the game and putting in the time, because at the end of the day, it's still about putting in the time, but also putting it on the right things, right? Because things have evolved, have changed. We do have AI right now, so it is slightly easier even to analyze data, even with Klaviyo, to write copy for ads or for email. It has become easier, but still you do need to know what to look for, right? So it's not like things have become necessarily easier for everyone, but for those who understand the principles and for those who try to adapt and use technology, basically we are just getting faster and better at what we're doing. So it's not like humans will be replaced necessarily by anyone else, just by other humans who use AI much better. That's the difference between a programmer that's, let's say, average, someone who is 10x that average, and someone who is 100x. And this can actually happen, because if you think about it, I think there are some stats that show that if you would get almost 50K per hour, so $50,000 per hour since year 0, right? No matter your belief, after Christ, right? This is how we count the years right now. If we get someone to actually give you 50K a day from that day, and I think it's actually per hour if I'm not mistaken. So you can check this, you can ask ChatGPT and you'll find out exactly. But if you get hourly that amount, I think you would still not be as rich as Elon Musk. So that's where you see the compounding effect of just putting in the time and putting it in the right place, in the right resources, and letting it stack, because even Elon has had his tough moments. So with that being said, we'll end it here for today. Tomorrow we will have a recap of all of these 50 days, and then probably some videos from Dubai, I guess. We'll have to see, because I'll be traveling on Sunday, and yeah, I will try to create content as always, because I think it's helpful for me, for you who might be watching, and yeah, just offering some value here if possible. So with that being said, that's pretty much everything for today, and see you tomorrow. Peace out.